Yo, what's up? It's my Cass here, HASSCAST. New episode out. This is it. We are gonna be discussing a film review. As usual, instead of movie news, there isn't much movie news, so we're just gonna go into a short film and discuss that. Short film from a buddy of mine that I interviewed the other day. And we'll talk about a whole lot of, a new album that came out that's been very anticipated. You know what it is. I just kind of said the first couple words of the album, and then we gotta do some rap news and stuff like that, and then we'll end it off with a nostalgia case, reviewing a very old classic film that's near and dear to my heart. Then, that's the end of the episode, but we gotta go through it first. Other news that I'd like to talk about is that I got HBO Max, so to watch a film which I will review in front of you, and also numerous amounts of films that will be released on this platform. I will be more so reviewing on the new HASSCAST episodes, so look out for that in the future. Also, we got a Kid Neutron. He hit me up for the password for it, and I gave him the password to my HBO Max. But also, news related to Kid Neutron is that he'll be working with Tech 7. I arranged that feature to be had, and that implies my position in terms of the music industry, of course. Shouts out to Mike Media Management. I've been controlling that sector of the small underground scene from now on. I hope that grows very well. And a new single by Jace is the End of the World remix. Actually, WC Tony had the verse recorded for to be originally put on the Triple X album by Jace, and Jace wasn't a fan of the verse, so I ended up mixing it together with the remix, and I showed it to Jace, and I was like, come on, let's release it as a single. You haven't released music in like a month, man. And so yeah, I ended up convincing Jace to release it. We actually found some sort of mutual appreciation for the verse, and WC Tony is very proud to get his verse out there, because I feel like WC Tony's verse on the End of the World remix by Jace is actually a really good verse, and a lot of people could definitely connect with that verse. So I got that set up because I just like to pull the strings and see what I can do creatively with something that I didn't directly create, but it's just cool to check that out. Yeah. So we got the first review coming up, but before we get into that, I just want to let you know that I hope you're doing well in these holidays. I hope you're doing well emotionally and economically. And if you ever take any time to watch my videos or leave them on while you do something, I hope whatever you're doing while you're doing this is either productive, or you're either relaxed, or you're either doing something well with yourself, or you have a good relationship with whoever is near and dear to your soul. So yeah, that's what I gotta say before we get into this HASSCAST. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content before we get into this, or leave a rating on any podcast platform that you're listening to. Let's get into it. So we got Wonder Woman 84. So this is obviously the sequel to Wonder Woman, and I'll be reviewing this on the show. The thing about Wonder Woman is that the first one was really good, but I do remember falling asleep at the end of that movie. I'm not gonna lie. This is after all the really cool, interesting scenes in the movie, like the World War I scenes. Like, whoa, she's in World War I, fighting Germans and stuff like that, and the chemical warfare was very interesting. I feel like they kind of tried to go the whole Captain America route, which is very interesting to see. I'm not saying it's a copy of Wonder Woman. I'm not saying Wonder Woman is a copy of Captain America, but it's still very interesting to see that. And like just another flashback in time and stuff like that. You got a lover in time, and then time sort of traps that relationship and stuff like that, and tragic events occur in that time, which lead to that superhero being forced into the future, reminiscing. Obviously, we see that in Justice League, and it's very similar to the Avengers, except it's through the lens of Wonder Woman instead of Captain America. So I'm just trying to make a comparison to there, but it's not fully like that. And I feel like what Wonder Woman in 1984 does is it really strays away from being compared to Captain America, which is very interesting. It's set in the 80s. The 80s aesthetic is very boring, and there is a couple of errors and games being showed in there that were actually before they actually were released and stuff like that. So that was a bit, that's a stupid nitpick. But in terms of the plot, it's sort of about greed and be careful what you wish for type of thing. And obviously it has that whole Greek mythology aesthetic, which was very interesting to see in the film. And it really was like sort of enthralling, and it was like, whoa, cool Greek aesthetic. And the whole competitions and the you know what I mean, the hot girl group, I don't know what they're called, you know what I mean, the Amazonians or something. Yeah, so yeah, dude, it's just like there's so many fucking names and stuff that I don't remember in this. But Cheetah was slightly interesting. Kristen Wiig did very well in this, but I feel like I didn't see that bit of a motivation. Yes, she wanted to feel special, but like I just feel like the villains were, I feel like Pedro Pascal had a better villainous role in Kingsman 2, but I did like the whole sort of, he was a greedy guy. The director, Patty Jenkins, said that he was actually modeled from a character from Oliver Stone's Wall Street, which I found very interesting because I'm a huge Oliver Stone fan. I love Scarface. I love Platoon. I actually just watched that the other day. I actually paid money to watch analysis of Platoon because there's a lot you can learn from the way they display certain characters as being antagonists and protagonists, like, are very unexpected within a military movie, and I feel like Oliver Stone's very good with that. But I feel like with this movie, it's just kind of like cool to it's just cool to see the whole sort of anti-capitalist, anti-greed aspect of things and stuff like that. It's not anti-capitalist, just unnecessary, hateful greed that a lot of people that in high powers of business get trapped into doing, and I feel like it sort of successfully does that. But I feel like it's like cartoonish, like a lot of the action on it, and not everything has to be realistic, but if you're looking for something realistic to make you think, this isn't it. This is unrealistic but still makes you think. So that's an interesting thing, is that it's unrealistic, but it still at least makes you think in some parts about like choices in some characters, redeeming of some characters and stuff like that. I'd have to say I like the first one better because of the whole fucking cool, World War One, get them, the cool chemical warfare, because that was a new thing to me. I haven't seen a lot of World War One movies. I would like to see Paths of Glory, which is apparently a really good anti-war movie by Stanley Kubrick. That's another World War One movie that I'm very interested in checking out, and Kirk Douglas is in that. I actually was in Massachusetts in Cape Cod, and some guy saw me wearing Stanley Kubrick's A Clockwork Orange shirt, and he was like, "Oh, you're a Kubrick fan. Have you seen Paths of Glory? Probably the greatest anti-war film I've ever seen." This old gentleman on a ferry told that to me, and I was actually thoroughly interested in checking it out, but I really haven't gotten to it. I feel like out of all the Kubrick movies I haven't seen, it's either going to be Spartacus or Paths of Glory I'd like to check out. Out of all the Kubrick movies I have seen 2001: A Space Odyssey, Doctor Strangelove, Barry Lyndon, A Clockwork Orange, of course, The Shining, Eyes Wide Shut, and Full Metal Jacket. But I have not seen basically anything pre-Doctor Strangelove, which I will eventually get into, and I will do it. I would love to do a Stanley Kubrick tier list. Back to this. So basically, if you want something unrealistic but slightly makes you think a little bit based on the antagonists of the film, this is the film for you. If you want something realistic that will make you think, this is not the film for you. This is not like True Detective, and that's a TV show, and I am making a very odd comparison, but if you want a superhero movie that's like makes you think about stuff or something like that, or gets you thoroughly emotionally involved, like, this isn't no Logan, you know what I mean? This isn't like freaking, you know what I mean? It's not like The Dark Knight, but it is a bit of fun, very reminiscent of Thor Ragnarok, except I connected with the Thor Ragnarok characters a bit more. Valkyrie was an excellent addition to that film, and I would love to see a Valkyrie TV show or something like that in the future, or like a sort of Guardians of the Galaxy Valkyrie TV show. But yeah, I'd say if you like Iron Man 2 or Thor Ragnarok, this is a really good example of that, because it is sort of politically and military charged and stuff like that at times with its action. It's very political and military based in terms of its action. It's not really like close quarters like that. It's very out in the open action type of stuff. But yeah, is it worth the HBO Max subscription? I'm not sure about that. I would say that if you want to get HBO Max, don't just get it for Wonder Woman 1984. There's a lot of really good films and shows on there. Like True Detective is like an example of a really good show that you should get like on your TV as soon as you get HBO Max. That's no, like there's better stuff on HBO Max, but it is interesting to see this come to fruition. The invisible jet scene with the fireworks was actually very interesting. And would I rewatch this? Probably not. But I think I'm gonna have to give it a worthy investment of time. Yeah, on the watchability scale, that's what I'm gonna have to give it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, what'd you think of Wonder Woman 1984? Did you think it was underwhelming? I kind of thought it was underwhelming, but really, and I didn't think it just justified the runtime. But it just was cool to see some more DC. I haven't seen really new DC stuff and since Aquaman or something like that. I couldn't get into Birds of Prey. Really disliked that movie. I just didn't finish it, and like I think I walked out of the theater when I saw that. I'm pretty sure that's what happened. But yeah, yep, that's what we got going on. Let's talk about a short film by Hyder. This is actually a pilot to his show called Art Club. This is Christmas at the Art Club. I feel like it's a very sitcom oriented type of thing. So if you're looking for some deeper meaning, not really there, let's be honest with ourselves. But I know Hyder myself, he's a nice guy, and he does have a lot of work to do as a writer and filmmaker. But I feel like the sort of bond between the characters and each little unique sort of flair to each character is really interesting, and that's really what makes the film, is the small character interactions in the art club and stuff like that. And I feel like that's really what carries the film. I feel like there's a lot of sound effect errors, and the soundtrack is really like decent at best. Really, I didn't expect them to hire an orchestra for this, but you know, it's not like outstanding. But I feel like each character in the art club is really interesting. You got Tala, played an excellent like addition to the thing. The blonde hair guy was actually thoroughly interesting, but occasionally in the beginning he was a bit annoying as a character. And yeah, there was, I feel like the whole crew was the best part, and the chemistry was definitely there. And there's an occasional editing and sound error, and it's like, okay, I saw that could have been edited a bit better. The sound effects were really like not that professional sounding and stuff like that, but it's like, you know, that's just a really small nitpick right there. But I feel like overall what Hyder displays is that he's able to write characters that are really well at connecting with each other, and I feel like he does have a future with either this show or something where he's good at character interaction. I feel like the plot really is not that strong. It's just like a small art club little hangout type of thing, and they're like, uh-oh, we got our phone taken away, what are we gonna do? And they all connect, and then they realize, okay, we're gonna hang out, you know, after, and then, oh no, the food's messed up, and then it's like, oh, we'll get takeout, ha ha ha, you know what I mean? It's just one of those, shit, this shit happens, we'll figure out, but just small little, not really hugely significant plot points, but it's still fun to watch. There's a lot of, this is the little jokes about lollipops, there's jokes about Star Wars in here, and I respect that type of stuff, and there's jokes about Truth or Dare, and there's like sarcasm jokes, and it's a cool, the interactions are sort of really what make this, and it's kind of got that small time humor, that small talk humor, which I respect, and I really see Hyder. He's really good at writing, you know, dialogue with people, and I feel like, as I said earlier, the character interactions make the film, but the plot's not that strong, and there's also a couple sound effect errors and a couple editing errors and stuff like that. But And the cinematography's cool. I did like the little shots outside the building, so I'll give him that. So shouts out to Hyder. Definitely check out my interview with him if you want to hear more information about this short film and pilot. I'm calling it both or something like that. I'm using the terms interchangeably. I don't know why. That's an error right here. You know, I'm able to call out my own errors as much as I'm able to call out Hyder's errors. So this is a great little pilot. I want to see where it goes. I want to see if the same actors will be in the next episode. I feel like if he continues to do this, it could be something way better in the future. You know, Seinfeld did not really look good in the first episode. Maybe this next episodes will be awesome and iconic. Who knows? That's what we got. I don't have any film news. There's nothing really huge. Like, unless you care about hearing about Tom Cruise melting down. But really what he's doing is trying to make the set safe. Like, whatever, dude. Tom Cruise has a meltdown. Who cares? A whole lot of Red is out. Woohoo. Whoopee. Not really a Cardi fan. Never really got into him except for hearing a couple of his big songs. Like Woke Up Like This and Magnolia and stuff like that, and hearing him on ASAP Mob collaborations. But I have recently found appreciation for him after hearing this. I'm not one to go on the internet and hear what other people have to say and say, oh, this is my opinion now. Oh. Well, I had the Kanye West collaboration was decent, really. It was cool. Beano was a very interesting song. The intro track is okay. I feel like there's a lot of okay songs, but the reason is because Playboi Carti has a really unique sort of way the beats carry him and he carries the beats. I don't think really anybody else can go on the beats the way Carti does. I feel like there's a mutual way that the beats sort of support each other in here. And like, for instance, on Metamorphosis, you have Kid Cudi humming in the background of the beat. That's fucking beautiful right here. And Kid Cudi gives a great verse, but the only really huge disappointment of this album is not seeing an either Lil Uzi collaboration or the Kid Cudi leaked song. That's what I've wanted to hear, like, officially for a while. Like, the leaks really aren't that satisfactory. Vamp Anthem is so unique and so interesting. I have to say, in the later part of the album is when it gets better. You got amazing songs in the later half of the album. You got The Control, you got Punk Monk, you got King Vamp, you got Over. Over is so good. It's probably the best song on the album, that or Vamp Anthem. The Vamp Anthem has that sort of, like, you know, that Dracula, and then they remixes that. And I really mess with that style, that aesthetic, and I feel like Playboi Carti really made it his own. And I feel like this is just something different. And I feel like this isn't going to be like, people are saying like, oh, give it a couple years, it'll be as seen as like Jesus. I don't know, like that. I feel like we're going to look at this the same way we look at like Love is Rage 2. Just like really cool songs, but like not like hugely fucking whoa, you know. We're not going to look at this as like some like huge achievement in music. I feel like we're just going to look at this as like a really cool small album that was a bit different and stuff like that. And I just feel like I don't want to see this become influential. I feel like Playboi Carti should be the only one to do the style, because that shit gets annoying. Like, I want to hear I Love You, I Hate You by Playboi Carti. I don't want to hear I Love You, I Hate You by Playboy Cartel Son or some bullshit fucking copy. I don't want, you know, that's like, I don't want to hear that, you know. I'm just like, I'm sitting and vibing. You know what I mean? And he's the only one who can do the style. I'm not really looking to hear some beautiful lyrics. The only really song where I heard a lot of lyrics is like this one song where he was talking about like Trippie Redd or something like that. I forget the name of the song. But like he was talking about how he like knew Trippie for a while and stuff like that. I'd say my favorite tracks are Feel Like Dying, Over, Vamp Anthem, and Metamorphosis, but I would say that there was a large amount of weak tracks on here. I had to say like only around 11 or 12 out of 24 of the songs get onto the playlist, but I feel like this is not really that bad of an album to listen to from top to bottom. You know, each song's really short. There's no like annoying ass songs. You know what I mean? And the one song that is really long is the Metamorphosis song with Kid Cudi, and it's so cool. I love that song. And like that's like the only really good long song on there. The 3-minute songs are really okay. If we were to do it out of 10, which I don't really like to do, but I feel like I'm gonna have to do for this album, I'm making an exception here, is because like I'm gonna have to say a 6.5 to 7.5 out of 10. I did like this better than Die Lit though. I think Die Lit's really cool, but like I like this a bit better. Yeah, I just disappointing to not hear the Kid Cudi song. That beat goes hard. If shouts out to Xavier Wolf, he did a really good freestyle over the Kid Cudi beat, dude. That goes insane. But yeah, so we got Jay Prince. He did a Joe Rogan interview. If you're very interested in the Ghetto Boys, Drake, Lil Wayne, those people, you can definitely check out this interview, and you can hear a lot about Rap A Lot Records and the mob things they got. Now they don't got a lot of mob stuff, but that's all allegations. But it's got a lot of interesting flair to it. You know what I mean? And I really think this is a really cool episode for rap fans and stuff like that. And Joe Rogan actually shows interest because Jay Prince is he's got his foot in a lot of different places in the world. You know what I mean? He's a really cool, interesting businessman to see. He's really calm. He's like the Godfather, you know what I mean? But he's more like, businessman. I'm going to be a boxer manager. I'm going to be a record label, head and stuff like that. So that was really interesting to see, is the Jay Prince, Joe Rogan episode and stuff like that. Yeah, dude, really interesting stuff. So, we got a nostalgia case. Roll it. Alright, so we got a nostalgia case of Rushmore. This is Wes Anderson's second film, and it's probably my favorite film from him or something like that. It's about like this really obsessive teenager boy who obsesses over his teacher, but he's like this boy in a high school, and he's like he's in so many different clubs. He doesn't really have that large of a social life. He's really just obsessed with all these clubs he's into. He's not good at his grades. He runs plays and stuff like that. And I can connect with his character because he has so many fucking different things he's doing. But he's also the only person he's obsessed with, like romantically and on an emotional level, is someone that he would never be able to get with. You know what I mean? And that's just cool to see. That's what, if he really wanted to, he could date all these other different girls in the movie. But he also decides to like, no, I'm gonna go after a teacher, which is like, dude, you're fucking 15, like, really? Come on. But he does this. If you like Napoleon Dynamite, this is the movie for you. And it's also got Bill Murray, who like finances the boys' like endeavors and stuff like that, and is like a very serious. The thing about his movies is Wes Anderson's movies is the children act like adults and the adults act like children, and not in a weird way where it's like cartoonish, but that's just the way they act, you know what I mean, and stuff like that. He really makes everybody on the same level. Everybody's sort of humbled and stuff like that, and that sounds like really weird and stuff like that, but that's what you know what I mean. That's what's going down in this film. That's the way things are run, and that's why it's so interesting, the character dynamics, and it's so like deadpan delivery humor. I love deadpan humor and stuff like that. I don't need humor to be shoved in your face, you know what I mean? I don't need that. I need things to look unintentional but end up being funny. That's just the way I roll with what I like. I like when characters are obsessive in their films, and obsessive and obsessive and obsessive. And that's just exactly what I fucking love about this movie, is that they're so obsessed. You can't stop them from obsessing over the teacher. You can't stop them from making this play. You can't stop them from going to school with a BB gun and shooting at some like foreign exchange student just because you're angry at them. You can't stop them. And that's what's so cool and so outlandish about all the characters in this film, is they're so depressed but they're so obsessed, and it's just a horrible combination, and that's what just makes for the whole character dynamics to be so like outlandish and bizarre. Like, I don't know a movie about a student going after a teacher. It just sounds like a really cheap concept, but it's executed with so much emotional complexity compared to what some guy who wants to make some like sort of stupid sex comedy in Hollywood will want to do. That's not how it is. It's truthful. It's painfully true in the best comedic weird way, in a very Napoleon Dynamite and Fargo-esque type of thing, and that's what Wes Anderson does well. Hey, this isn't a Wes Anderson for you stupid film kids who are like, oh, he has the symmetry. This is all in the writing. Like, the cinematography is cool, but it's more so the color palettes and the writing and the character dynamics that are the best part. So yeah, it's very sitcom like with this, but not really. There's no laugh track, but like not like huge, really significant plot points that determine the fate of the world. Like, I don't want that. I don't like movies that like determine the fate of the world and stuff like that all the time. I don't need that. I just want something that's really internal, not really connected to this mass group of people. That's stories that are really internal or more interesting. It's almost like you're being told a secret that you haven't heard before from someone, and that just makes it so interesting and stuff like that. So yeah, man, that's the end of that nostalgia case, and that's the end of another HASSCAST. We got, man, I'm gonna hit 1,000 soon, man. We're at 43 right now, but we're gonna hit 1,000 soon, man. I'm ready to get to 1,000. I don't know when I'm ever gonna stop doing this, man. I don't think I ever really want to, but maybe if I really kick this off, maybe I will, but I don't know. I really don't know, man. And I feel like I found peace in knowing that I don't know. I feel like everybody should find the peace in knowing that they don't know the answers. Nobody knows the answers. And yeah. And also pride their inconsistencies and look back at them to learn from the inconsistencies and stuff like that. That's what people gotta learn. It's just like, look back at the inconsistencies and be like, oh, whatever, man. You know what I mean? Everything's in the moment, guys. Like, just chill, bro. Just chill. Yeah, that's all I got. Thanks for watching, bro.